as I just said that I'll talk about special chemistry and how to exploit it in designing some functional materials. So I think many of you know these biomimic interfaces, and one of the examples is this lotus leaf. And from childhood we know this, and I think many of we who came from the village area, they know like how to play with this taro leaf, right? Something called this kuchu pata, right? In Bengali and Assamese, right? So they, you know, like in rainy days with the monsoon, it's really amazing to see that the water drop keep dropping on this leaf, and it's just bouncing off. It's not wet, right? You see, it's a very dry and clean interface. Whereas if you see other leaves, they're only wet. And if the monsoon is not properly, right, if it's just some splashes of water, then you see like some muddy interface, right? So that you don't see because of lotus leaf because of this biomimic property. This is called super hydrophobicity, and I'm going to talk all about it today. Some basic fundamentals, and then why it's so important and what next to do to translate this concept to the commercialized level. Now, before that, I don't know whether I'll get time to introduce my research group. So here is my research group in IITG chemistry department, and we're working on a few different areas. One of the things is like this water saturation, which is very relevant in today's scenarios, where you know like drinking water, which is another important aspect. I think when British left, they said like we'll put India in a situation where they have to buy water. They have to buy oxygen. And I think like second thing, I don't know when it will arrive, but the first thing is already there. We always drink packaged water, right? We have a lot of resources, a lot of rivers, and we're surrounded by the sea, right? But still, we're depending on this bottle, which is very, very unfortunate. Like all those developing country or developed country, they manufacture a lot of stuff, right? And they dump all these wastages in these Asian countries. And this India is one of the hubs for that, to consume all of this. And our river, our oceans, those are all things is polluted severely. Different kind of pollutants. One of the major things is oil. And there are not much concern from this part. I know that this part means this country. But if you go in the other part, they're really seriously thinking about this, because this is kind of a contaminant which is there in the water, and you don't have a proper avenue to separate them. People know this using this broom and steam, right? Some of the absorbents which can take oil and water both. So they're not efficient. Some of the cases, you know, like you have a free floating oil on the water interface, and you just catch a fire, and that can lead to another second pollution in the air pollution, right? So you don't have a really environment friendly and energy efficient approach to tackle this oil pollution in the water, which has a severe impact in short term and long run. So in that case, you know, this binary interfaces is very much useful. And there are a few other things like secret interface. I decided not to talk about that. And then have a few, another thing is drug delivery. Releasing a small molecule-based bioactive molecules from sustaining duration, as like insulin, right? You probably want to release it for like a month or a year. You don't have to really remember that, you know, I will take each pill every day. And sometimes when you're traveling from one place to another, you don't have to carry the pills, right? So if you have a sustaining design, developed material where you basically insert in your body or some mean, and you forget about 2-3 years, then slowly sustaining it can release. So that can also be achieved with this biomimic approach. Probably some other time I'll discuss about that. Now come back to this super hydrophobic property, right? When I said this lotus leaf that has a topography and chemistry which allow it to absorb or give this metastable trapped here, and that gives this extreme water repellency. And this phenomenon is known for many years. But this particular property, what's the origin, that is basically evolved very recently. Very recently means in late 19th century, which is, if you think about the property which is known to our society, it is like hundreds and hundreds of years back, right? But the evolution started on 18th century, early 18th century, where people first start to understand why if you put a water droplet on a PTFE or in a glass, the weightability is different. What's the driving force, right? And whether I can predict that you have this particular liquid, whether it be oil or water or something other liquid, and now you have a particular solid surface that could be wood or that could be leaf, that could be plastic, that could be glass, and whether I can predict that contact angle. Now to define that, to understand that, you have to understand what is the fundamentals, what is the origin of this contact angle, and how you can calculate that, right? So the origin of this contact angle is definitely is because of this cohesive and adhesive interaction. I think many of you know about that. So that completion leads to this interfacial tension. When you put this water droplet on a solid surface, then there are three different interfacial interactions. As you can see here, there is this direction there is a liquid vapor, this direction is solid vapor, and this direction is liquid and solid. And now this water droplet or any liquid droplet when you put on a solid interface, there are the three forces acting in three different directions. And when they meet in equilibrium, then you will see the stability. I don't know how many of you really realize that when you put the water droplet on a glass, initially the moment it gets in touch, in contact with the solid interface, it starts to spread. And after that, it stops. Because the spreading is because of the uneven forces that are acting in three different directions, right? Now, once these forces are met or came in equilibrium, then you get a stabilized state, and there you measure this contact angle. Now, that's a principle Professor Young used, and he gave this mathematical formula based on this equilibrium process and force equilibrium process, and he predicted this equation. And once you measure with any number of different substance and the liquid, when you know the surface tensions, then you can basically experimentally you can measure and you can theoretically calculate. But you see like there's huge mismatch. There have like in some of the cases it's matched really well. Some of the cases it doesn't go with this the calculation, the theoretical or the prediction. So somewhere it's wrong, right? Then, in middle of 19th century, Winchell proposed another model, and they said like it not just the interfacial tension. When you take this solid interface, that could be rough, that could be smooth. But from there, this hydrophobicity, high contact angle, that's like that part of the problem. People start to address that particular issue. They said like we're missed one particular parameter in roughness because projected surface area in some rough interfaces is way higher than this flat and smooth interface. And when you take account this roughness factor, then you can define the high contact angle. But in this model also inherently you can't really describe the contact angle anything above 140, 145. So that means it can't really explain this super hydrophobicity. But basically, the water contact angle formally has to be above 150 degrees. There are technical problem. That's the reason you can't really define. If someone is interested, I can discuss about that stuff at some point. Now, to define or to understand superhydrophobicity, first the atom came from Rossi and Webster in middle of 19th century, where they say come up with a completely different model for weightability as a heterogeneous weightability. They said like it's not just the interaction with the liquid and solid. There are a third element, external element, and that is a trap here for superhydrophobic property. So there have a third element which decide whether liquid water was beaten on the solid interface that will be in contact, intimately contact with this solid interface or not. Now just think about if you have a rough interface and then you have a third phase, right? It's like a cushion, right? But that cushion made out of the air. And you put this water droplet, they never find the solid interface. They are something like hanging on this air cushion. That is exactly what's happening in the lotus leaf also. That's the reason the water droplet is beat on the interface, you tilt the interface, it immediately rolls off. Okay? Formally, this workability is defined as I mentioned. The advancing quantum angle has to be 150. Now, what is the advancing quantum angle? When you basically measure this water quantum angle on any substrate, there are two ways you can measure. One is the static quantum angle, but basically, this is the scenario. I don't know why this is faded away. There, I think it's clearly visible. So you have the solid interface, and then you put this, you beat the water droplet here, and whatever this contact tangent, you draw a tangent from here, this contact line, this contact line, that will give the contact angle. Okay? So in this particular setup, what are the quantum angle you get? That is called static quantum angle. That is good to determine the overall workability. But to understand the workability for the extreme water or liquid interfaces, the dynamic workability is important. But that's the way you can find it out whether that interface is adhesive or non-adhesive. So in the dynamic interfaces, what you do, you have a needle and you dispense the liquid, and once it touches the interface, at that point you measure the contact angle, and then you keep dispensing the liquid, you wait for a minute, and then you receive this water droplet through this needle again. And just before detach, you measure the contact angle again. So you will see a definite change in workability, because the moment water is just getting in contact with the solid interface, at that point the amount of trapped air, whatever is there, that is just the absolute number, right? 100%, right? For sake of period, right? Now, when you are bringing or pushing this water, or feeding the water more and more, then this trapped air, whatever there on that topograph features, they have to displace. They're facing some push from this liquid phase, right? Now, during that process, some of the trapped air will basically leach out, and then the solid interface that will expose. Now, so that's the reason when you measure the receding quantum angle, that will be always lower than advancing quantum angle. And now, if you see there are no change in this advancing and receding, that means you have a very good substrate and you have a very good stabilized stabilized trapped air. And that's what you all want. For that, you need a right topography and you need proper chemistry. Now, when you take this lotus leaf, just this lotus leaf you take and you put on a microscope. This particular field didn't evolve only evolved in the late 20th century, because that's the point the electron microscopy started evolving. Because people doesn't know what's the starting point to synthesize the artificial super hydrophobic interfaces. But at that point, if you take this, because this is a good point, right? You take this naturally existing interface and see under a microscope and see what is the topography, what exactly is present there, and that gives rise to this property. You know that to have a trap, you need some third phase, and you have some kind of theoretical understanding, but you want a more concrete criteria to synthesize artificial interfaces. For that, this is a very good starting point, and people did experiment this try to find out what kind of topography is there. And they found it has this micro topograph, and each of these micro topographs are decorated with these nano features, and that mostly made out of wax, natural wax. It is basically hydrophobic, very water repellent. Yeah. Now, the question is then what's the criteria? Is you have to have this micro nano features and then this low surface energy coating. The answer to figure out that particular criteria, there are some nice demonstration here, where you can see people design some micro nano features where they can selectively compromise one of the features, that is the nano features. Okay, you started with these micro features, and each micro feature has a nano radical features again, and you go through this heat treatment, and that treatment basically compromise these nano features, and you will end up with this only microfeature. The composition remains as it is, right? In that case, you see, once you compromise these nano features, you lose this property, non-additive superposition. That means you need this appropriate combination of this micro and nano features. Okay? Then another experiment came in 2009 where they have used this advanced nanolithographic technique, and they can really mimic the structure what present in lotus leaf. They can design, they can basically prepare a substrate where basically you have this nano feature what present in lotus leaf. What are the micro features that's present in lotus leaf, that also you can mimic, and you can exactly mimic this helical features what present in lotus leaf. So separately you are identifying these nano features, micro features, and the exact features which is basically combined of the micro and nano. And you basically top with this low surface energy coating again. Okay? But once you do that, then you only see non-additive superpositivity for those interfaces which has this nano micro features. Okay? So that particular demonstration, these two independent study strongly suggested that you need helical features. That means you need a dual degree of roughness, and then you need this low surface energy coating. Once this secret is revealed, then as Professor Miller said, people just nowadays science is kind of a religion, right? So people just took this concept and they introduced thousands of approach to build these helical features, and they introduced number of super hydrophobic interfaces, but they have the problem. Once you introduce different approach, fundamentally what people are doing, commonly they basically took this hydrophilic building block, because you need some kind of interaction to develop helical features. So in case of this top-down approach, or rather the bottom-down approach, which is basically substrate independent coating, which is basically you want, right? Because of top-down approach, you are dependent on a substrate, specific substrate, where you take the hydrophobic substrate and you're developing these helical features. That is different. So they're basically fundamentally, or probably for sake of interest, you can develop some of the super interfaces, but they're not realistic for practical application. So you need something which can give you a substrate independent coating and durable coating. But that's the game, that's the challenge where people are struggling. Okay? Now why? If you see in case of bottom-up approach or even in top-down approach, people optimize the essential chemistry through weak interactions. Most often these electrolytic interactions, CN bond, which is relatively stronger, but again is UV responsive under prolonged exposure to UV radiation. The bond can degrade, the chemistry can perturb, and then you can see the significant damage in the interface. The properties, there are metal ion bonding. If you expose to some harsh aqueous stage, the property will vanish, right? Even in early days, one of the superconducting material people use or prepared, even if you touch with the finger, there's a compromise. Now, for publication or for some proof of concept demonstration, probably fine. But for real application, those materials no use. Okay? Now that's the problem, and one need to address. Okay? So that was the part which basically the chemistry point of view, chemical durability point of view. Now they have another challenge when you're thinking about real practical application, where basically you want to expose your material to different kind of manipulations like bending, creasing, scratching, right? Suppose think about the coating with this property on a car, right? And many of you probably have noticed that probably every week you wash your car on a Sunday, right? And then probably middle of a week there are the flashes of rain, and that can leave your car very dirty, right? It's kind of muddy, right? Now if you have this kind of coating, then it can be absolutely clean and dry. Okay, even there are a small splash of rain, it doesn't matter, right? So not only that, like the coating, different other things, right? So definitely you are going to expose your material for different kind of manipulations, scratching, physical aberrations, right? And during that process, if you have this kind of protocol for synthesizing the material, then definitely you are going to compromise this top surface layer, which is basically this low surface energy coating, and that way you can expose this underneath hydrophilic domain and you can compromise the coating. That is the real problem. But if you solve that problem, then you have any number of applications, and those are very much relevant for day-to-day life. So one of the things I mentioned is oil water separation, and then this self-healing coating. Also, I'll discuss about that also. So to address this physical aberrations, physically durable material, there are 2-3 approaches, unique design, which are not following this regular protocol. Where basically one of the approaches is this post-repairable approach. But this one, even though sounds very interesting, that like you compromise the coating and then you deposit the material again, that practically doesn't work, right? You have a coating and then you have to bring everything together and you are again coating on that object. It really doesn't work at some point. There are another approach where basically called self-healing approach. Even though it's called a self-healing approach, but you need some external stimuli to optimize the essential chemistry. What it does, basically, you have this low surface energy coating, whatever the stuff I said. Now you basically deposit more amount of this small molecule, and they can deposit on the top interface, and they can also leach into the bulk of the material. Now you basically degrade the top interface and expose to humid air, and because of this humidity, this small molecule diffuse out and can basically optimize the chemistry. Now here again, this self-healing nice demonstration is there, but this is not a realistic approach because the amount of loading of this small molecule is limited, and second thing is like we're talking about just the chemical leaching on the top interface, which is physically deposited on the interface, right? So that can be easily removed. So this approach, like kind of is there, but it's no use, kind of. So the more realistic approach would be, to develop or design a coating, which is not just the interfacial, just the top. You can develop a bulk coating, a thick coating, and you can expose to some physical aberration, chemical aberration, whatever, and you can remove the top interface. Still, whatever the underneath interface, that should have that proper chemistry and temperature. Then, even though the top interface is removed, the underneath interface, whatever is there, is just the exposed interface, that will also display superlativity. And that's what you want. But it's extremely challenging because you want to optimize this topography and chemistry all through the coating, all through the bulk. That is, if you see over this last 100 year probe, you see 5 or 6 different materials which can really give this kind of look. Okay, and then I have a few examples I have placed here which demonstrate this bulk vertibility. One of the approaches is basically come with this. This is one of the first approach where basically they have these 2 different monomer, okay, which can give one can give the hydrophobic polymer, one can give the hydrophilic polymer, and in the mixture of co-solvent, you basically polymerizing it. It gets phase separated, and it can give some kind of colloidal agglomerated phase separated material. But that is very much delicate because it doesn't have any kind of cross-linking or anything. So it's very puffy coating. Okay? Even though if you just rub with your finger, most of the materials come off on the substrate. And coating on different objects is also tricky with this kind of action. But it's from proof of concept point of view, is a very, very good starting point. Okay? Then there another approach came called layer by layer deposition approach, where you take a reactive polymer and 2 reactive polymer which can go for the mutual reaction rapidly, and you're going dipping one after another, and in this particular process 600 deposition steps is involved, and then you get a thick coating which is basically thickness is 80 micron, and it gives also over the coating, the top surface and underneath, that gives super adhesive. That's good, but like in terms of commercial point of view, 600 step deposition is not a joke, right? The very much time consuming, and no one will buy this kind of approach. But again, for proof of concept demonstration is really good. This is another approach in chemical science where basically they took this candle soot, So I think many of you have, I don't know, probably not many, but a few of you have seen this lamp, right? Kerosene lamp, right? And if you put any object top of that, you'll see some carbon particle deposit, right? That's basically kind of candle soot, right? So you can also take the candle, right? But we are very much familiar with this kerosene lamp, and we have seen the similar kind of things. And now, that's the process here, and that is basically a template with this porous network, which is deposited on the glass. And now you are depositing the silane, and that silane can coat each of individual these carbon nanostructures, and it can provide a kind of porous and thick coating. Once you go for the calcination process at around like 500 or 600 degrees centigrade temperature, where basically you can degrade out all those carbon nanoparticles, and then you have just this sleek hollow spheres, and then you optimize with the fluorinated small molecules, which is again very expensive and is injurious to our kind of health and environment, because these fluorinated small molecules, they are really not good at a certain concentration. And here you are definitely thinking about, you can imagine you are using a quite a bit high concentration of fluorinated molecules. So once you do that, then you get this bulk superheads. So this approach, you need 3-4 steps. Where basically the candle soot is template. Second thing is you need 500 to 600 degrees centigrade temperature, and then this fluorinated small molecules. So this is again realistically is big problematic. Now, what we thought we'll take advantage of is a very facile chemistry and try to develop a bulk coating with a very straightforward process, a single step, whether that can be possible. So when we started searching or hunting for a chemistry, the facile chemistry which can rapidly take place without production of any side, without giving any side product, without needing any catalyst or external temperature, it just happened. It should happen in the ambient temperature, right? So then we found this micro-addition reaction. So basically, this acrylate group and amine, they can readily react at ambient condition without needing any kind of catalyst, and it doesn't give any kind of side product. And people explored this chemistry to develop some functional coating, not necessarily biomimetic interfaces. What they did, if you take this polymer, the BPI, and this particular small molecule, the cross-link, the reactive small cross-link, the 5-ACO, and if you deposit this substrate, you have two containers. One is a 5-ACL, one you have the BPI. Now you have a substrate where you want to deposit the coating. Now you deposit. You submerge the substrate on first BPI, and then you wash the substrate, and then again you put it in 5-ACL, then again you put it in BPI, and so that way you basically go for subsequent deposition or repeat this cycle again and again, and then you see the growth of these nanodomains on the substrate. So it found that once this BPI polymer is deposited on the surface, from there this nucleation takes place, and you see the growth of this nanostructures, features. And that can be useful for amplification of some reactive functional groups. And that's the way people start to exploit for different kind of biointerfaces and all. And then recently, in 2012, they have another approach where what they did, it's not another approach, it's the same approach, but what they did, instead of just 10 binary or 10 cycles, they repeated it for 80 cycles, which involve 80 into 2, 160 into another 6. So that many cycles. And then you get something around 2 micron thick coating, porous coating, and what they found, that coating is left with some residual acrylate groups. That coating inherently hydrophilic, but it has some acrylate group, and if you post-modify that acrylate group with selected small molecule, let's say amine containing any hydrophobic small molecule, then you can change the chemistry and you can really improve the wettability. And they found that they can improve the wettability to something around 140 degrees. So it's not yet super hydrophobic, it's just hydrophobic coating. Now that's a very good starting point from our perspective. What we thought, instead of depositing this polymer one after another on the substrate, let's first synthesize a reactive nanocomplex. Okay. When you talk about the nanoparticle or nanocomplex, mostly we know that they are not readily reactive to any of the stuff. See, there are probably amine and acrylate. You need some kind of catalysis, some kind of heat treatment and all, and then you can make it reactive. But I'm talking about some reactivity, but basically, that can happen in ambient condition. So our target was developing nanoparticles or nanocomplex with variable size, and this would be readily chemically reactive to small molecules, whether you can do that or not. So to make that happen, one of my students is sitting here, Adil. He started with different composition of BPI and 5-ACL. This is kind of a weekend trial, right? It's just a dark room. You are throwing an arrow. You don't know where's the target, but you know the target, but you don't know where is the target, right? So you started with this BPI and 5-ACL in different composition, because we know that this nanocomplex, this nanostructure form on the surface. That means it's some composition. See, when you are depositing on the surface, you don't have the control on the composition, right? But when you want to have the same thing in solution phase, you need a proper composition of those two reactants. So you have to hunt for that particular composition. So that's what he did. He spent almost like 5-6 months. He was very frustrated at that point, I guess. But he ended up with a composition where he found this nanocomplex form. They're chemically reactive, and if you allow them to react further, they can give this self-standing gel, which is hydrophilic in nature, but they are with the residual acrylate group. If you modify with the appropriate amine, you can make it super hydrophilic. Now there was the game. We exported this gel material for different applications, but we're not going to talk about that. Our another game was this reactive nanocomplex, and we exploited that nanocomplex in different means to get functional biological interfaces. And as you can see here, this nanocomplex can grow over the time. You don't have to fix site. They can grow over the time, as you can see from the DLS study, and they remain as chemically reactive. You can modify with any selected amine groups, and you can make moderately hydrophobic or hydrophobic, more hydrophobic or hydrophilic. So what we did here, we took this cotton fiber, which is cotton is readily available, cheap, environmentally very much friendly, right? So we took that and we immobilized this reactive nanocomplex on this each fiber, and we modified with this ODA, which is another small molecule amine, and then it gives rise to this super hydrophobicity. Now the interface is extremely repelled to the water, but if you expose to the oil, it can readily soak. As you can see here, the oil droplet can readily soak. Okay? Now that principle helps you to selectively remove oil which is present in the water phase. Okay? So before that, you can absorb the oil, but how to collect that oil, right? That is another problem, right? You have to address that. But there have many different approaches to recover the oil. So it's some kind of gelator and all, right? I think I don't know how many of you really familiar with that. But basically, you can have some small molecule with some gelator, where basically in presence of oil they can form a gel. But to collect the oil from that gel is really hell work, because you have to go for distillation, high temperature. Who wants that process, right? What we want, that's the reason we selected this cotton fibers, which is very much compressible, right? I think many of you have handled with this medical cotton, right? They're compressible, right? So you can compress with like 80% different strength, compressive strength. So what we found that if you compress it or release the applied pressure, it doesn't matter, the property remains very intact. Okay? And that helps in separating oil phase, which is free floating on the water. aqueous phase. You see that over the time this oil phase selectively absorbed on this super hydrophobic cotton. If you have just the uncoated cotton, if you expose to this aqueous phase where basically oil phase is free floating, you see the oil phase will repel. Okay. I don't have the video right now here, but you can try that stuff at your kitchen. You will see that what dramatic effect when you have uncoated cotton versus this super hydrophobic cotton, and then you can squeeze it just with this mechanical pressure, and then you can extract out that oil which is present, which is basically soaked into this super hydrophobic cotton. Then we thought like this is the one way to extract out this oil from water. Another approach where basically you can restrict the oil contamination to the mainstream. Many of the industries they have the waste water, right? They continuously discharge the waste water, and that has, particularly for oil refineries, and that has a lot of oil contamination. And that directly comes to the mainstream. Now, if you have some kind of filter, particularly this kind of filter, where basically you can make sure only oil can pass or water can pass, then you can separate the oil and you can allow the water to pass. Okay, so you see here, we selected a substrate which is stretchable and porous substrate, fibrous substrate, which is polyurethane based, and then we again immobilize this reactive nanocomplex and we can post modify covalently, and then we got this super hydrophobicity. And you can see this deposition of these nanocomplexes. And the substrate, which is super hydrophobic, you can stretch it with 150% deformation. And even after that, it remains super hydrophobic. After that, you can go for this 1000 cycle of deformation, and you can see this stretched substrate, okay, with 150% of deformation, and still the water droplet is basically bouncing off. It's not sticking on the surface. It's completely bouncing off, and you get a very dry interface. You can see another example of this durability and stability, where you take this soft knife and you are scratching on this membrane, superconducting membrane, and then you expose the water droplet, and you see this water droplet is extremely repel and roll off easily. Okay. There are different other abrasive steps, physical abrasion and chemical abrasion steps we have performed, and we found that the material is absolutely fine, and they are quite a bit stable and perform under severe settings. Then we thought like, let's go and demonstrate this oil separation, where you have water and this light oil. And as you can see here in this video, you have this mixture of kerosene and water, and you pour on this particular setup where you have this membrane here. This is what is the membrane. And once this oil phase comes in contact with this membrane, this oil phase, that is basically selectively passed through. But the water phase, which is supposed to get extremely repelled by the interface, they are not allowed to pass through, and they remain on this prototype. Similarly, we demonstrated with the heavy oil, so-called this DCM, the heavy fraction, which is denser than water, which can settle on the underwater. In that case, also, if you make the mixture, you put it on the prototype, you can see instantly this oil phase is separated out. Okay. And we can demonstrate this kind of separation performance on a different kind of severe settings. Okay. Now we'll move to another chapter. I'll take another 10 minutes probably just to demonstrate that. But basically we thought, immobilizing this nanocomplex, reactive nanocomplex on the fibrous substrate, there's a one kind of ballgame, and putting a flat substrate where you don't have any features, right? In the fibrous substrate you already have micro features, now you're decorating with nano features, and you're optimizing chemistry, covalent bond, and getting this property. Now when you dream to do or optimizing this bulk superability on flat substrate, there is a different ballgame, because you have to develop dual degree of roughness. You have to have micro features and nano features, as well as you have to optimize the chemistry, and that's true all through the coating, not only the top, also the bulk. Okay? That is very, very difficult, as we have seen the last few slides, right? What is thought here? We take this nanocomplex, reactive nanocomplex, and we spray deposit on a flat surface. Now, when we try to do that, there is a problem. Because this nanocomplex is a form in ethanol, and ethanol is a volatile solvent, they can readily evaporate out. But to cross-link this nanocomplex, reacting them together and form this gel kind of things, it takes time, almost 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So before that, it's basically volatile, evaporated out. So there are no solvent media which can allow to react this nanocomplexes. So that way you won't get instability coating. But that was the struggle. So I need a particular basis where I can expedite this reaction so that this gelation, solid gel, that formation should be really rapid, accelerated, and this evaporation rate of the solvent that should be also slowed down. So that it's not immediately evaporated out. So to find out that and just examining that how this other alcoholic solvent, the other analog of this methanol, higher analog of methanol, impact on the growth of these nanocomplexes, then we found that if we perform the same reaction with the same reaction composition in different alcoholic solvent, when you move from methanol to pentanol, this reaction rate is very, very fast. As you can see here, with the pentanol, within 15 minutes the gelation takes place. But as you can see in ethanol, still is kind of liquid turbid, and it's not very much dense turbid. What I mean, these nanocomplexes are not grown properly. As you can see, reflect from this particular plot also. You can see this time versus the size of this nanocomplex, the different solvent media. You see in the pentanol is the maximum for a given set of these solvents. Okay, so that was a very nice starting point, and what we did, we basically prepared this nanocomplex in different organic solvent and went for this spray deposition. We found like in ethanol, propanol, butanol, because of this rapid evaporation of the solvent and slow reaction, we didn't really find a proper coating. But in the pentanol, we got a nice, uniform, thick coating. But that coating is inherently hydrophilic in nature. But that is one of the problem, right? But it's kind of expected also. Because in our previously, when we prepared this gel, we know that it was initially hydrophilic but chemically reactive, so you can modulate the chemistry covalently and you can get the superadivity. Exactly the same thing you can see here. We have the coating here now, stable coating, the bulk coating, and you can expose. If you see clearly here, some of the portion, like particularly this portion and this portion, where purposefully we have exposed the interior. We took out the top portion of the coating with a different depth. The interior 1 and interior 2 has a different depth of the coating. We went to a bulk of the coating to a different extent. And then we examining the chemical reactivity. We found that it doesn't matter whether top interface or middle of the middle portion or even depth of the coating, it all has the residual acrylic groups. And that is good. And again, we modified with the small molecule, hydrophobic small molecule, and then we found that even though they have a different depth of the coating, you basically clip or expose that the interior portion, they all display this superhydrophilic. That means directly it said that you have a chemically reactive bulk coating, and it's fully capable to give a bulk superhydrophilic coating. That means this coating, if you expose to different kind of physical aberration, the scratching or whatever, it can survive. Okay? And that's what exactly it did. We performed different kind of abrasive tests, chemical and physical, and we found that it can survive all different kind of trouble, what basically you can envision if you expose a material to real life. Okay? Now then, what is thought like whether it has the ability to coat different other objects. So we selected this wooden block, plastic, aluminum foil, concrete. This is A4 size, whole A4 size paper. This is my daughter's sneaker, and all you can coat, you can make it super hydrophobic. Another interesting thing, we know that if you deposit dust on a bare A4 sheet paper, if you expose to water, what will happen? It will become muddy, right? Now in our case, if you have a superlative coating, you deposit the dust, exposed to the water, you have a clean and dry interface. And now you can use the interface to print, even after printing, it remains superlative. You can write on the surface, and then you can expose to the water media, but still you can preserve that whatever the written with the water-based ink. Okay? And again, I can quote. We can quote this soup, and then you can expose to the water, and you can see absolutely dry and clean interface. Whereas because of uncoated soaps, if you expose to this dust, if you expose to this water, then it becomes mud. Okay? Now with that, can I get another 5-10 minutes? Please. Okay. Another interesting thing, this is the recent stuff, this is under revision, the minor revision, where we have developed invisible pattern or invisible writer. You can write something, you can hide information, you can store information, and you can only see that stored information once you expose your biomimic pattern interface underwater or humid environment. This is a kind of exploitation of chemistry in a little bit tricky way. So what we did here, we developed, in the previous paper, previous work you have seen, we have a bulk coating, but that is hydrophilic in nature, inherently. They are chemically reactive, but hydrophilic. If you have that, it's very difficult to develop a pattern. Because either you take aqueous media or you take the organic media, both can wait on the interface. You can spray. So you can't really do a localized spatial selective pattern, right? So for that you need some kind of barrier. So the dream thing is like if you can develop a hydrophobic chemically reactive coating. Once you do that, then you can really define or really create a spatially selective pattern, okay? Chemically reactive pattern. So what we did here, we have this hydrophobic chemically reactive pattern, chemically reactive interface. There we wrote this IITG with just the fountain pen, where we insist of using the ink. We have taken this aqueous water-based glucose solution. There is another kind of ink, okay? And that can give you invisible write-up, but you can really see when it's in air, dry substrate. And then you basically, the rest of the region you basically export it or react it with another small molecule which is hydrophobic in nature. So then what you're doing, this particular region that is super hydrophobic, and then this black, this IITG, that is basically super hydrophilic. Okay? Now you see here, we have particular process to develop that material. Just keeping this slides up to this one quickly. Oh, okay. So as I said, like we have this hydrophobic coating. We can modify with octadecilamine, we can make it super hydrophobic. We can react it with glutamine, we can make it super hydrophilic. And for timing, just forget about this. It's underwater super hydrophobic. I thought I will have time. I'll tell another story, but I think this is not the right time to discuss about that. For timing, just forget about this. Now you have the super hydrophobicity as well as super hydrophilicity. And if you see another stuff here, underwater, they are transparent. This coating becomes transparent, right? So this glutamine treated region becomes transparent, and woody treated region that is very opaque. But when you keep this substrate in air, then both things is basically opaque, white. And now when you expose to the water, then you see this, whatever the stored information is the IDT, right? And see this video, I think from there it will be more clear. You just submerge in the water, the moment you are exposing the water, you can clearly see that. You take it out and make it dry, again, you will see the information is high. Okay, and this process can be applied in different kind of object. And even if you take this substrate and blow with your mouth mist, then also you can see. And in this particular case, the evaporation of the water is way faster. So you can see for a fraction second, a fraction of minute, and immediately it disappears. Okay? And you can do that for any number of times. And so what are the write-up we have shown here? This is literally we have wrote with our hand. So see, like some point you want to store some code or some signature or whatever, right? That you all can do with this approach. Even you can really well-defined pattern that also you can do with this microchannel assisted cantilever spotting process, which is basically we did with the collaboration with Professor Michael Hertz in Germany, and we can develop this IITG and INT write-up that is basically the micrometer scale, very tiny, small scale write-up, and that can be visible when you basically blow with your mouthpiece, and it disappears completely when you keep it in ear for 2 minutes. And this particular approach further can be extended for different other applications. With that, some of our previous work basically came into the news, and this definitely acknowledge this financial support from DST, IITG, BRS, DVT, and MRPL. And again, I thank the organizer for giving this opportunity to focus our research work. With that, thank, and if there are any questions, we have to address.